Welcome to the Interview Podcast, the voice of InterCT. InterCT's aim is to help young athletes become excellent individuals through the vehicle of soccer. Love the game, love to learn, and love to compete at InterCT.
Hi, everyone. Back with another Interview Podcast. I am Aaron Mazzola. I am joined today by my co-host, Tom Robinson. And we have a couple special guests on here today. We have Alex Drayson from SPU, and we have Coach Pedro Oliveira back again. How are we doing today, everybody?
Good, thanks.
Thank you. That's my nicest introduction you've given me so far. Co-host.
Co-host. Well, you've been on every one, so I figured I might as well introduce you.
Great introduction, by the way. For some reason, I have to say that so it can keep me coming in.
So we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today, but we thought Alex would be a great guest to have on because he basically runs. You own SPU, correct, Alex?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I'll let you introduce yourself, but we work very closely with Alex. Us having our office at SPU, and most of us are there several times a week, and we run a bunch of training sessions and strength training, technical sessions at SPU with Alex and his staff. But I'll let you introduce yourself, Alex.
Yeah, I opened SPU in 2012 with the goal of trying to find a comprehensive way to help kids get better at sports, and focusing on physical performance. So whether it's the underlying biomechanical integrity, which is basically how your body functions, and whether it's moving the way it's supposed to, as well as strength and conditioning, the speed training, injury prevention, nutrition, and anything that has to do with the performance of your body, we wanted to make sure that we were able to take care of and help put kids in a better position to be successful. So that's what we've been doing since 2012. Leon and Marty had approached me, and I believe it was late 2019, saying, hey, they were running Inter at that point. They had recently taken over Inter, and they said, we want to find, and bring in the tools that we need to be the most comprehensive soccer program that we can be. And part of that is developing physical performance. How do we make our kids healthier? How do we help them recover from any injuries they might have had? How do we make them faster, more explosive, more powerful? So we had sat down and chatted and tried to come up with a number of ways in which we can do that. And since then, we've been very closely connected. Obviously, you guys have in your offices here and running a lot of joint programs. That's been the case ever since then. So.
Yeah, that's great. And, the partnership, I think it works really well, even though you're not just soccer based, you're more, an athlete as a whole, I guess. Right. But you work with football players, you work with baseball players, you work with, so many different athletes. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've worked with athletes from all different sports, from swimming to soccer, from football to tennis and everything in between. We've had some kids who come to us, they don't play sports, they just want to be healthy. Obviously, we've got plenty of adult clients who come in for personal training. So, the knowledge or the tools that we have and the way in which we apply it doesn't necessarily have to be applied to one medium. It's hopefully just a prism through which we can view physical performance, and then we can kind of expand on that to focus on particular areas of an individual's development. So if we have someone come in who's a 45-year-old mom who just wants to be in shape or wants to train for a 10K or something, we can do that. If someone comes in and they're a 14-year-old soccer player who wants to be more explosive, we can do that too. It's just a matter of looking about what's the underlying function of the body. Do they have, ankle mobility? Can they dissociate? Can they go into triple flexion? Do they have the stability and mobility they need to execute the movements they're asking their body to do on a consistent and healthy basis? And those rules, once you understand them, are relatively universal. So, we can really help all populations, but our focus has always been with competitive athletes, and obviously Inter has fallen right into that niche.
Yeah, that's great. And we've sent, I believe, I've had a couple players that have gotten injured in training and have come to you guys for some PT, and it's turned out, really, really great. They've come back even stronger than when before they got their injury. So
yeah, that's a huge part of it. What we found, in our first, 4 or 5 years of being open, we would have athletes who worked out with us and they would turn an ankle during the game or something. And, They go see their pediatrician, and the pediatrician sends them to a physical therapist, and the physical therapist takes 8 weeks, rests them, ice them. They come back, and basically they are in many cases somewhat atrophied over the course of that 8 weeks. When they come back to us, we see that they're significantly weaker. Not only are they recovering from an injury, but they haven't been training properly. They're weaker, and they're predisposed to further injury at that point.
Right.
So in a conversation with Leon about 3 years ago, we said, okay, how about we streamline this process for the kids at Inter a little bit, where we just create an injury portal, where instead of it being a run around through pediatricians and separate PTs, it's not necessarily in-house, but it's run in connection with the program. So if someone gets hurt from Inter, they can go to the injury portal, say, hey, I turned my ankle at the last game. Then our physical therapist, Doug, can do a quick evaluation, no cost or anything, just to say, okay, what is your level of injury? Is it, hey, take a week off and you're going to be fine? Is it, what, stop whining, you're fine, which has happened before? Or more seriously, is it, hey, here's your injury and here's the approach? Is it, do a couple sessions of physical therapy and then you'll be okay? Is it, I need to refer you to a specific orthopedist, and then Doug can send you to the correct orthopedist for your specific injury, rather than your pediatrician? And pediatricians generally are not as intelligent as pediatricians are. Their specialty is not orthopedic and sport-related injuries.
Right.
Or he can say you need imaging. And lastly, he could say, if you're already working out at SPU, you have a minor injury, and then he can tell me and Andy, hey, here's how to adjust this kid's program to avoid the injury. And Doug can kind of point us down a little more specific and a little more prudent path to getting healthy, and also trying to get kids back on the field as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's massive, right? Like that you can take care of it all in house. You don't have to worry about going to somewhere else and relying on a doctor or a physio to pass it somewhere else. So I think that's great. And then I think we've even gone full circle where we've had players do it, but also some parents. I know I've been in there before, and we've had a parent doing some physio, and then the child's doing a session with Leon or in the gym elsewhere. So, I know we are talking a lot about the kids, but also, we can cover the adults. And I would like to say myself has been one of the people, but Alex has worked with my wife as well when she was coming back from a knee injury, right around 2019, 2020 as well. And that's another one where, like I said, it's not just the kids, they're the main part of what we're talking about, but even parents, you know what I mean? We can get you guys in there to work out. So, I actually really like, and I know it was one of the first times that I got introduced to the SPU world and to Alex, and how it's not just, hey, come in, we're going to throw you into a workout plan and we'll figure it out from there. It's actually come in, you'll do the tests. I always remember we put Coach Anthony forward, because at the time we thought he was one of our more mobile and agile coaches, and we was like, yeah, your hip flexor's not working properly here. You can't rotate as much on one side. So I do really like that the first session at SPU is about figuring out what is best for that specific player, and it's not just generic.
Yeah, 100%. That's huge. Like, right from the day when we opened in 2012, our first impetus was that we want to offer comprehensive and personalized, programming to everyone who walks in the door. We don't do kind of generic group classes. Realistically, if you walk into a high school weight room and you tell a soccer team, hey, the 20 of you are all going to squat, 20 of those kids are going to squat differently. 18 of them are not capable of doing it right. And, 4 of them are going to end up injuring themselves from having done it wrong. Being able to kind of figure out biomechanically what's going on in someone's body to determine what exercises are appropriate, what are their risks for injury, both on the field and in the weight room, and just in terms of long-term overuse. The common one we use an example is if you see a kid bend into a squat and the knees are kicking inwards, we call that a valgus shift. And if you take a kid and put them under a bar with a valgus shift and say, okay, go ahead and squat, the valgus shift is not necessarily going to improve itself. What's going to happen is you're going to ingrain and strengthen a dysfunctional pattern, which long-term leads to injuries. Now, what happens is if that valgus shift is constantly pressing in, now with load on your back, what you're doing is you're putting more pressure on the MCL and the ACL. And then when a kid plants their foot in a game and all of a sudden that knee buckles and you get that non-contact ligament tear, a lot of times that's built up from years and years of movement that was incorrect. And that can be, you definitely compromise health when you further that injury in the weight room. The first thing is to look at, how does a body move? How does it function? How can we improve function and make sure we eliminate risks for injuries? Then also know that what exercises are not appropriate for this athlete. Now, if someone walks in with a valgus shift, it doesn't mean that they can never squat. It just means that we have a couple of corrections we have to make. And sometime between 2 to 6 months from now, they might be, doing the traditional exercise that we had originally eliminated from their program. But it does mean that every kid who walks in the door and signs up for 99% of our programs is getting a 100% customized sheet, even if it's in a group setting. We're not believers in the one-size-fits-none workout. that you're going to get. We don't take the CrossFit approach where we're just going to make everyone throw up, and the kids who get hurt are just a penalty of trying. We want to make sure that everyone is put in a position to be healthy, perform their best, and painting with a broad brush is generally not the best way to do that.
Yeah, I think for me as well, like with the partnership with you guys, is as a coach, we get the question so much, like, how does our kid get faster, more powerful? And we would usually just come up with a random answer just to kind of move the conversation, because we don't know the answers. We're specific soccer. We don't worry about that other side. We're now like, we can say, hey, go speak with Alex, go speak with Andy, and they can really help you in that area, instead of us just kind of making it up. And like same with like injuries as well. Like, yes, we're qualified in the first aid and things like that, but we don't, in those first aid courses and classes, we don't go into like the detail of the muscle tissue and how all that needs to be treated, and what needs to be stretched, or what needs to be rested, or what needs to be rolled, and things like that. So I do think it ultimately aids everybody. I think it's a great connection, and for me as well, just like the location, you know what I mean? You can talk to your coach for a soccer point of view, and then you like right now, right across the road from us, and you guys are there. So I think it's a great partnership. I do want to turn this, Aaron, though, to programs that we can try and get some of our kids in there, because I know from my point of view, when this kind of partnership formed, that I was the 2010 coach, and now looking at the 2010s, I know we've got multiple kids in that age group who are in there, and they have benefited from it. And then also that's then brought their sisters in as well. I know there's 2 boys who play for me, and then now it's a family thing. It's not just like Aaron said at the beginning. They might be soccer, but the sister might play hockey or tennis or other sports, and then it can all merge together. So I don't know if you just want to shoot through some of the programs that we have and what fits certain needs for every age group.
Yeah, so we try to run a variety of programming to meet everyone's needs. The first one, the one that we try to headline a little bit, is our annual training program. So kids can sign up for the entire year, and they can train from September through the end of the school year for just one rate. And at that point, they're getting like a 65% discount on what it would ordinarily cost. But more importantly, what we're trying to do is reward people who take a long-term approach to training and say, I'm committed to doing this. Because if you get kids who go to the gym for 3 weeks, they look in the mirror, they don't look different. Like, training's not working. We want to say, hey, look, let's take it. And I should say adults
I'm
do that too.
That's me.
But so we want to encourage and incentivize people to come in for the long term, even if it means that it's being done at cost. That's fine. We just want to see the kids get better. We do that annual training for kids that are 11 and up. They go into those customized programs we just talked about. They work out in a semi-private setting. And you get to make your own schedule. So from 3 to 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday, you can tell us what times you're coming in. We're as flexible as you can be. As long as you let us know in advance, we're going to be able to get you in. We also do Saturday mornings from 9 to 12. Now, if you don't want to sign up for the entire year, whether it's because you play other sports or because you travel, we have some kids that are away during the spring or the summer, whatever the deal is. We do what we call complete training, which is basically the same training program, but it's just done in a semester rather than the full year. So we do like a fall semester, a winter semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester. So you can just sign up for that 3-month, 13-week period of time, and you can choose whether you do 2 sessions or 3 sessions or potentially 4 sessions a week. Again, it comes at a relatively steep discount for the inter kids, and they'll still get that complete comprehensive programming. So they'll have, dynamic warm up. They'll have the soft tissue release at the beginning. They're going to have developmental exercises to improve the things, that analysis that we talked about earlier. Then they'll also have some speed development. They'll have force production or power production. They'll have their strength base, and they'll have conditioning. So they're going to get a very comprehensive program. And again, they can make their own schedule for that period of time. Those are kind of the 2, I would say, highest commitment, highest involved kids who have really bought into the system, are the kids who sign up there. For people who are looking for a little bit more of a soft entry, which is 100% understandable when kids are pulled as many directions as they are right now, there are some easier ways to get involved. The one that we normally do during the course of a semester is called Learning to Train. And Learning to Train kind of targets those 10 and 11-year-olds who are just becoming old enough to train, but they're not really sure how they feel about it yet, or parents are not sure how the kids are going to react to it yet. And that's an opportunity for us to just get kids in and let them try out a couple of workouts. This is that 1% of the time when the kid is not going to get a customized program. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take them through the most basic program that we can possibly come up with, just to let them be exposed to what it would feel like to go through a workout. Inter has offered these as trials over the course of the last couple of years sporadically. We did them in the fall recently. We're not doing one this winter. What we've done in lieu of it is tried to answer two of the questions that we get most commonly from parents. The first is, and Tom already alluded to, is how do you get faster? Everyone wants their kid to be faster because that is the presentation of athletic performance on the field, especially in soccer. It's how quick is that kid moving? Speed is king in pretty much any team sport. So this winter we're going to be instead of learning to train, we're going to be doing a speed workshop. So the speed workshop is going to work on sprint technique. I really should break it down into three components when we talk about speed. There's acceleration, top end speed, and agility. And all three of those have very different stimulus on the body. They have different necessities when it comes to technique and modalities. When you look at something like acceleration, it's very power and force production based. You get a lot more forward lean and tilt. You're trying to sink into your hips as a much higher demand, whereas top end speed is your legs are already moving as fast as you can, and you're just trying to return that momentum back from the ground each time you take a step. A very different stimulus for the body. And agility really comes more down to strength, whereas how do you stop from moving one direction? Well, that's eccentric strength. And then it turns into acceleration when you start going the new direction. So what we're going to try to do in this speed workshop is give the kids the tools and kind of each one of those different parameters. Okay, what are the acceleration drills you can do, and what are the technique considerations involved? What are your top end speed considerations, and what does the technique look like? And then for agility, how do we build eccentric strength? And we'll focus mostly on the plyometric and speed component of it, but we will begin to break down into the beginnings of the power and strength as well, so that the kids understand the role that plays in speed development. And speed is obviously a very nuanced animal. People talk about speed like, hey, can we run through cones? Can we do the ladders? And there's nothing wrong with those things. However, it's not going to get you your greatest return. The analogy that I'll make is if you do speed training by running around cones, that's kind of like driving a car around a racetrack over and over. Like the car might be going as fast as it can, but it's not getting faster. Once you understand how to do the cone drill is really giving you a fairly limited benefit. If you want the car to go faster, at some point you got to replace the engine. You need a more powerful engine. And that's what the power and strength production comes down to. So, we'll focus on just the speed considerations, but try to instill in the kids the understanding that at some point, your strength and power to body weight ratio needs to improve if you truly want to get faster long term. One of the common things we get is a kid who comes in like, hey, I played soccer for 7 hours a day, and then I went and ran 2 hours of cones. Why am I not getting faster? And it's like, well, at some point you've kind of it's basic economics. This is your law of diminishing returns. Now you've kind of hit the limit as to where on-field play is going to help, and at some point you just got to be stronger. You got to be more powerful. So we'll try to make this as comprehensive a speed development program in the winter as possible for these kids, and put them in a position to feel better when they come out in spring. The second thing we're going to do this winter, and this is the second most common question, is injury prevention. How do we stop our kids from getting injured? Hey, my knee is constantly bothering me, or hey, my back is feeling sore, and it's consistent after games. There's kind of 2 points to it. The first is biomechanical integrity, which is there may be something underlying in the body which leaves them predisposed to certain types of soreness or discomfort. If a kid has a valgus shift, like we talk about, where that knee kicks in, and then they're going to start getting a little patella tendonitis because the knee is beginning to twist every time they cut. And hopefully we can at least identify why that pain is occurring. We want to make sure we can answer the question why, not just what. The kid can tell us what hurts. It's our job to tell them why it hurts and how to correct it. So, hopefully that injury prevention workshop will allow us to examine with each of the kids, hey, let's do your analysis. Here's where, you on a biomechanical level are not functioning. You lack external mobility in the shoulder, which is affecting your posture, which is now causing you to have a little bit of back pain. And then it's parlaying down into the hips and causing you to go what we call posterior tilt. And when a parent looks at us, say, "Wait, you're trying to tell me that the reason why my kid doesn't bend into their cuts is because they have bad shoulders?" And yeah, it is. It's all connected. It's all part of the same chain. If you pull the chain at one end, it's getting yanked at the other end too. So we'll be able to dive into a little bit of that, and then we'll also be able to go through some end range stability, mobility, and neuromuscular firing pattern stuff that's a little bit more generalized. But still equally important, where we're doing some soft tissue release, we're doing some active stretching. Now, we're not big believers in static stretching. Realistically, static stretching is just not statistically proven to be particularly helpful. But there are still ways to work on mobility that are not just static stretching. We can work on what is your stability at your end range of motion. If you can strengthen the muscle at its end range, then you can allow the muscle will allow itself to go further. Most people can stretch much further than they think. It's just the body restricting itself because it doesn't want to move, because it knows it's not stable and therefore it's at risk. So when we can increase stability at end range of motion, we see kids' mobilities improve. And we'll do very limited amounts of static stretching. But that winter course is meant to teach the kids what's a routine you can go through at home that's going to allow you to help prevent injuries, as well as dive in just a little bit into what their own personal issues will be, and kind of divide that session between, okay, here's your personal 20-minute routine, and then let's get together and do kind of a 40-minute generic thing that's going to help everyone in terms of injury prevention and mobility.
Yeah, we're still here, guys. I was just nodding along just with everything Alex was saying. So like, this is great information, and this is the whole reason why we partner with them. Because like, if you ask me that question on speed, I would just say, yeah, run faster. But Alex has got all the answers for you. And this is why we want you guys to do it, because we know it's going to benefit the kids, and it's going to help ease some of those frustrations that parents have from the sideline. So, you got all that information from Alex. I think the next one from me is just kind of, are we directing them to you, Alex? Do you want them to come to us first? I know we've got Hannah, who has a foot in both camps now. So kind of what the next steps are there to kind of get people on board. Because like I said, it is limited spots as well. So we want to make sure whoever want to do it, they can get in and take part.
Yeah, no, you hit a couple of big points. So first, that it is limited spots because of the way that we try to customize our programming. It's very difficult for us to take super high volumes of kids at once, which means we do limit ourselves to somewhere between 8 and 12 kids per session, depending on what exactly the service is. So, it is a little bit limited. So if it's something you're interested in, it's worth getting in touch sooner than later. The registrations they're all available on the Inter website. So if you go to Inter, you go to that programs tab at the top there, and then you click Sport Performance U. It's all right in there. With kind of a banner for each program that's running, one for the annual training to complete training, for the speed development, for the injury prevention workshop. And then we also have, I forgot to mention, we have a fundamentals and active start program for the 6 to 8 year olds and the 8 to 10 year olds, so that we can get the young kids introduced in some way, shape, or form if something they're interested in. But all those registrations are available on the website. If you have questions, really the right person to contact first is Hannah. Hannah can answer, especially your administrative questions like when are the sessions, how does it cost, going to sign up in these periods. Hannah can answer all those questions. We're fortunate that Hannah kind of works on both sides of the coin here, both at SPU and at InterCT. So she's got the information on both sides. If you have questions about the actual performance or coaching, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me, and I'll answer any questions that you have. As you can tell, I'll talk to I'm blue in the face about this stuff. You may have to cut me off at some point if I'm talking too much, but I'm obviously interested and very much, I enjoy this stuff. So I will talk about it until you tell me to stop. So.
No, I was just going to say that you sound enthusiastic when you're talking about this stuff. It's not your job,
100%.
but it's definitely something that's interesting. Interesting to you.
Yeah.
So I think it's amazing.
I love it.
We have the so many different programs for different age groups as well. If you have kids that are young enough and want to get started in this, you said you had 6 to 8 year olds coming in to work with you, and up until high school as well. I see high schoolers in there, and I'll tell you from because I coach 4 teams now, and the kids that have gone to programs at SPU have always come out, whether it just be a little bit more flexible, stronger, quicker, more agile. You can definitely see that difference. And that's a testament to you, Alex. I mean, you do such a great job over there at SPU, and you're interested in it as well. So that's a massive factor, I think.
Sorry. No, and Alex, on your annual program that you have as well that you mentioned, you do a personalized follow up with the kids, correct?
Yeah. So what happens is, as we track progress, what'll happen is, let's say they start in September. Every 4 weeks, they're going to get a new sheet. When we give a kid a customized program, it's a 4-week program, and then what'll happen is the kids will hand it back into us after 4 weeks, and then we'll revamp it. Whether that means some things need to progress, whether that means we need to change volume or phase of off season. Like if they're in season, we want to decrease some of their strength volume and increase maximal output work. Decrease conditioning because they're going to be on the field running plenty. So, we don't need to do more conditioning, in-house when they're already on the field with their teams all the time. So as the seasons go on, we'll adapt our programs both to the phase of the off season that they're in, as well as what their progress has been. And then over the course of a year, you can just go back to those sheets and say, hey, look, you used to do a rear foot elevated split squat with 20-pound dumbbells. Now you've got a barbell with 185 pounds on you. You know, like that's a huge difference. And when you look at how hard a kid kicks, how fast a kid runs, how high a kid jumps, it's very easy to track the correlation between, hey, this kid went from being, you know what, they can't help on a header from a corner because they can't jump high enough to at the end of the season. It's like, hey, that's the guy we're trying to get the ball to. You know, it's very easy to see how that changes.
Yeah.
What's that?
I say he's able to jump over the crossbar now because he's he's more explosive. But one little thing that I liked, I know Aaron listed a lot of the things, more of a physical point of view that benefits SPU. But for me also, it's a confidence thing. You can see with these kids because they understand their body. They know we're more comfortable with movements, and it all ties to there because we know most of these kids kind of, it's a weird stage, right? When they start going through puberty and they don't really understand what their bodies can't do, shouldn't do. And then this also helps her. So they're on the field now and there's like, oh, I might not be able to make that pass because, you know, I don't know if I have the power in my legs, but no, it's also that mental side of the game, which we aren't necessarily training when we're doing the physical side, but like they know, hey, I can now, you know, I see the kids all the time doing the sled drives, like they're pushing them. Oh, no, I know I can pass the ball now much further because I've got that power in my legs. So yeah, no, I think, as you guys can tell, you know, it's just we as coaches from the Interside, we love the program. We love everything about it. And what you'll see as well with some of our other programs we run is we do try and involve SPU as much as we can because we believe in it so much. So even during the summer, you'll see some of our boot camps, some of our our USL camp we do there, where we do an hour in the classroom. We do an hour with Andy in the gym and in the warm up area that we refer it to, and then we also have an hour on the field as well. So it's kind of and usually that's where you start then seeing that. Oh, well, how do I get involved more? I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and you know, for us, it's kind of we cover everything as a club, right? You get the physical, but from a person who actually knows what they're doing, not somebody just having someone run up and down. You get the coaching points of view from a technique. And then also we can use the classroom to do the tactical and kind of game understanding. So yeah, for me, I am conscious of your time. I know you're a very busy guy, so we do appreciate that. Is there anything else that we need Alex for? I think the big one is what I take from it is make sure you sign up because I can see these spots going, if I'm honest. And like me and Aaron said, the more people we can get involved, the more benefit it has to the players. Yes, if you are listening from some of our other locations, Union, Litchfield, you are more than welcome. But SPU is located in Wilton, kind of on the Norwalk-Wilton border. And if you're willing to travel down, it is 100% worth your time and effort to get there.
Definitely worth
Yeah,
it.
I do recommend for the Union guys and to jump into SPU for sure.
Yeah, we'll be happy to have you. You know, for those of you who are commuting from a little bit further, we are about 30 seconds away from the highway there. So hopefully from the actual commute standpoint, we make that part easy. But we're happy to have anyone. And again, with the schedules being flexible for certain portions of our program, where you can select between 3 and 8 o'clock, five days a week. Hopefully, we can make it something where everyone has an opportunity, because that is a big thing. We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to take part and be involved if they want to be.
I'm going to jump here with a call to action. It's hannah@intercitfc.com would be questions, or like Alex said, get on the website at intercitfc.com, programs, and look for Sports Performance U.
That's great. And welcome Leon to the podcast. We did.
I was going to say, people might think that was the ghost of Leon.
Leon was hiding behind the curtains.
Just a little cameo there, but no, that's the call to action, or like I said, get on the website.
Alex, thank you for coming on. We appreciate all the information, and you use some words that I haven't heard since my SATs. So that was but it was a lot of great information. And everyone, if you do have questions, or even if you wanted to check out the facility at SPU, if you haven't been there yet, it is quite a facility, and we do have our offices in there. I saw Coach Anthony Quinn working out there yesterday, and that's a testament to how good the gym you have over there is too. So come check it out. Any questions, contact Hannah. You can contact me, Tom, or Leon, or Alex for that matter. But Alex, thanks again for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Always good to see you. Hopefully we'll see everyone soon.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another interview podcast. I'm not sure where this is going to end up, either before Alex or after Alex, but we have Tom Robinson. We have Leon Othen here. How we doing, everybody?
Hello, man.
Yeah, all good, man. All good.
So we have we've spoken to Alex already, and he's spoken about SPU and the programs that he runs at SPU. But I'm conscious to the fact that we hadn't gotten a chance to talk about the extra time. Extra time runs at SPU, and I have all the information up here. Extra time, I did have the information up.
Well, yeah, I'm passionate about the extra time because it's small group clinics. I think we've already spoke about how different people learn and whatnot. And a lot of players need that individual attention that extra time provides. Small groups of 4 players. We talked last week about core competencies and the technical ability of players. And sometimes when there's 16 players in a group or 12 players in a group, we talked about as well being coachable. And players sometimes get away with not doing stuff and the correct stuff, or just looking busy, as opposed to really making sure that a technical facet is actually done. So you can tell I'm getting passionate about it. Extra time, 4 players, no hiding place. They get to do and complete the technical tasks, age-appropriate tasks that are asked of them. And and they work hard along the way as well.
Yeah, for me on this one, a question I got this week is what's the difference between extra time and the elite group training? And basically nothing. It's just a location. Elite group training technically takes place in different spots. Extra time isn't explaining, the stuff that we're teaching. It's more like a play on a part of soccer. Like if a game's not finished after 90 minutes, it goes into extra time. And then it's also us allowing players to get extra touches. So, it all kind of follows that elite group training format where it's 1 to 4 coaches and it's all technical based. And we base it around our core competencies that we talked about last week in the podcast as well. So, if you are that person looking for extra touches, if you are doing extra time or any of the elite group training, you're going to be with Inter-Connecticut coaches, you're going to be with good coaches. Just extra time is at SPU in Wilton, where the elite group training might be at All Saints, it might be at Northeast Athletic Center, it might be somewhere else. And that's kind of why we name it that way. And we name extra time based on its actual physical location more than its topics. But yeah, and they're split into 6-week blocks, right? We're well into the current 6-week block, and I want to give a special shout out to Coach Antonio, who's been working with those groups for most of the fall, and unfortunately, his time with us is coming to an end for the fall season before he heads back to Puerto Rico, and we're trying our hardest to have him back early 2024 because he's been great there, and he's been a great addition to the club on the whole. So I did want to give him a little shout out there. So he will be missed while he's going home, but we are already having conversations to get him back with us for next year. So, and all that basically means is you just might see a few more familiar faces. Amadi might be there, Aaron, myself, Leon, some of our other full-time coaches. So it will give you, if you're signing up for the winter, a chance to work with some of our coaches who can't always do it during the fall and the winter because they're doing team practices. You might see a little bit more of those guys as well.
Yeah. And the dates and times and age groups for extra time are all under the website underneath extra time small group clinics. But it caters to 2015, 2014 boys and girls, 2013, 2012 girls and boys, 2017 and 2016 boys and girls, and some of the older players as well, 2011s and 2010s can join. So if you're, curious about anything that we do run, it's all under the extra time small group clinics on the InterCTFC website. Now we can talk a little bit about the residential camp. I got some information from Ashley regarding maybe a little bit of a discount for the first 50 players that do sign up for the residential camp. You will get some sort of discount for that, and I will talk to Ashley and we can get that information out to you. But it will run at the same facility as it did this summer over in Massachusetts. I can't remember the name of the facility. Do you remember what the name of it is?
It's Mount Herman.
Mount Herman. That's right.
And the discount is quite significant. It's about $150. I had kittens when I found out what happened there, but no, first 50 people. I know it's going to sell out. I think we're pretty close to the 50. It makes a great holiday present for people, and we can spread the cost out over from now till May if need be. But very successful last year. There's going to be less capacity this year because I'm going to be filling up a good 10% of that, or 10 to 15% of that group with goalkeepers. Myself, I wasn't here last year because I was in Malawi, but going to be really doing a good goalkeeper camp out of that. So places, if you went last year, get in. If you've heard good things about it, get in and get yourself a $150 discount before the next, I'm looking here, next 12 people register. 12 left.
Yeah, and Leon's right. It will sell out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We talk about it a lot. Our programs do sell out. We do cap them because, and similar to what Alex talked about, is because we want to focus on quality over quantity. So we for us, we could sell it to 200 kids, but the level of coaching wouldn't be as individualized. So we want to make sure we do it. So get into those first 50, sell it out. I unfortunately wasn't there last year. But I heard massive positive feedback from it. I know the coaching staff loved it from when I've done residential camps in the past. Really beneficial, and the kids enjoy. They get to get out and be on their own for a few days and just really enjoy it. So, I also find it funny the amount of parents that text me during these residential camps, and it's like 15 minutes after drop off, and they're already at a bar somewhere else sending me pictures saying how long can you keep them for and things like that. So. No, it's a great program. Ashley, lots of credit for running that program. I know it's enjoyable. And if you want to do it, just don't leave it till the last minute. So if you have any questions, again, you can send it to myself, Leon, or Aaron, but ultimately Ashley's the person running it. We will just send you there. So Ashley at intercityfc.com. And you can also find that information on our website as well.
Now let's talk about the winter. We've spoken a little bit about the winter before. I guess not a little bit about. We've spoken a lot about the winter in previous episodes, but we do need, in order for some of our programs to run, we do need players registering. So that is our 9v9 and 7v7 winter leagues. The 11v11 is basically full, right? I mean, there's only a couple of spots left for the 11v11 winter league. Yeah,
I was talking to Anthony. I think we have 3 spots left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 3 spots left. So if you are listening to this, by the time we get it out on Friday, they could have gone. I do expect all of our winter leagues to sell out. How we do it as a promoting it is we try and give our families at least 2 or 3 weeks to see if they can make it work before we start. The inter-families, before we then start reaching it out to other people, or see if any of the Union kids want to travel to Norwalk to come and play with us, or any of the Litchfield guys want to do that. And then we do start putting it on social media and doing it that way. So these programs will sell out. Like I said in the last program, they've sold out every year that we've ran them. But for me and Aaron, I'd rather be sat on the sideline helping 5 or 6 of my kids that are on my team that I'm going to be coaching in the spring, instead of 5 or 6 kids that I'm not necessarily going to see ever again. So that's why
we have identified some players to bring in from the Winter League, right?
Correct. Yes.
So
it's like a good entry point.
Yeah, it's some way for us to kind of build the squad if need be. But we do want ultimately to coach all of our players and see how that they progress and maintain their skills during the winter.
Another way I set the registration up as well is, say you are an Inter-Connecticut family and you have a friend who doesn't play for us, but you think they would be a good fit, you can actually register them. And if you put your name of the player who you want to be with, I can try my best to at least get you on the same team. So then that also helps that new player coming in, so that he's not having to get to know 10 other teammates. At least he has that 1 or 2 familiar faces. And that's the same with siblings. I know we have not many as we used to have. We used to have loads of twins in the program, but we have 1 or 2 twins, and the mums have already been reaching out to me. Hey, can you just do it so they're on the same team, just so then I don't have to stay around for 4 hours. I can just come in every week. I was like, yeah, no problem at all. We don't do it for 9 players because, if the 9 players on one regional team all put themselves on one team, it doesn't make much sense. But, I try my best to do, if you want to be with this person because it helps carpool, or you want to play with this person because you've not been able to do it before, then, we can kind of make that done. But yeah, we've got leagues running at every format. We've got high school girls, we've got high school boys, and we've got all pre-high school boys and all pre-high school girls. Just make sure you get on that as fast as possible. All the links have been shared via myself, Aaron, our other directors at the club as well. So, if you are jumping on that, get on it as fast as possible.
And or limited.
Yeah, massively. And then the last thing from me is I just want to touch on the election day camp. I think right now we're up to over 30 kids registered. I think we're close to 35. We are going to give it maybe a few more days to see if we can get a few more girls on there. If not, then over the weekend, I will open it up to anybody, and we'll just run it similar to how we've traditionally run our summer camps, and it would just be co-ed. So I would just make the groups based on, okay, we're going to have this many in here, this many in here. This is more of a regional pool because these are all players from our regional team. This is more of a 7v7 group. And we have opened that up to high school as well. So if there's any high schoolers on here that want to jump in, they can come in. We have got 2 or 3 register already, and Marty's working on getting us a few more. So yeah, if you want to come and play during election day and actually get better instead of just going to a camp where it's 300 kids at the field and 4 coaches, then, our groups will have no more than 8 players per coach on the field. So there'll be a lot of individualized and specific coaching to your kid if you want to jump in on that. And if any questions, just reach out to me, but it's $70 for 3 hours of coaching, and it should be a good format as well.
Pretty good. Leon, anything for you to promote here? I know you've got some goalkeeper stuff coming up.
Yeah, we got the goalkeeper camp clinics that start after Thanksgiving. 4 weeks goalkeeping. Looking forward to doing that. Had a bit of a where I've been working with all the pre-teams this fall. We've given that to the highly skilled hands of Hunter and Jamie. But I'll be looking to get back involved with the goalkeepers in the winter, and that's always good, where they also get good deals on gloves and whatnot. But other than that, adventure soccer is 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Pre-team 2018s and 2017s, they all start up in a few weeks' time. Limited spots left. A lot of younger siblings from our players that they're jumping in on this adventure soccer and pre-team and whatnot. Want to see me dressed up as Buzz Lightyear.
Did you get your cow costume on?
Cows when I do the farm. I go to a different farm. I'm going to be a dragon this week.
And it starts at 2021 birth year, right?
Oh, you keep your son out of it. Another year for him. 2020 and 2019 are the adventure soccer, so he's got a little way to go.
One more year.
I do also vet them by their parents, these kids, so that you'll be
the dragon. I need a picture of the dragon.
Yes. Did have Antonio in actually a little story, because obviously a lot of stuff got rained out Sunday. I moved my 2016-2017 players indoors here at SPU, and we did kind of like a winner stays on 4 teams, and the winner or the goal scorer got to pick the outfit that referee Antonio got.
No way.
Yeah, so he was a neat. At one time, he was an astronaut. Another time, he was a cowboy. Another time, yeah.
Great sport. I love that guy.
That's awesome.
Oh, you might actually be able to catch that in this week's team of the week, I think.
He's in there. He's in there in the background.
Little Felix scored a fantastic left-footed goal, and you can see referee Antonio in a dragon outfit.
Brilliant.
On Sunday.
Thank you, Leon, for that. That was a nice little bit of comedic relief there. And picturing Leon in his dragon outfit. That's amazing. But one last thing to promote is the parent pickup. Last week, Thursday,
Wow.
Was the first one, the inaugural parent pickup. And this will be released after the second Thursday parent pickup. But we're going to make it a weekly thing and hopefully grow it into some sort of league. But, last Thursday we had just over 30 parents and around like 6 to 7 coaches. And everyone that I've spoken to about it had said that they really enjoyed it. I know Leon enjoyed it. He was refereeing and we got the VO up there, so we had the footage from it, but I enjoyed it. Everyone that I've spoken to had fun, and it was just a good little run around. The level was actually pretty decent. We had some players that have played at a fairly high level, some players that, haven't played much, but I think it was a good mix of people. And, it was just a really good run around, and good to see that, the players are not the only ones that can bring some competition.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right there. It was great fun. Level was high. I've spent a lot of money trying to find good soccer to play in over here, and to find that on our doorstep by doing it with players or families in the club is massive. And also we do try and, that's one of the things that we used to do a lot back in England and the UK for our coaches who are from there, is we would just play. And then ultimately, if the parents are closer together off the field, that's going to help the kids on the field. And it's kind of that club-centric kind of community that we want to create in Connecticut. So it was great for me playing with like a high school kid, the dad that I'd coached the kids years ago, having that, and then also playing with kids, parents who are currently on my 2015 team. So it is great. I apologize if it takes me a little bit to click whose parent that is, because I know I was staring at somebody going, I know who you are, but it's been like 5 years since I coached a kid, and then, ultimately get there. But yeah, no, full credit to Aaron to throwing that together. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, looks like we might have more people this week. And then, any feedback that we can get from anybody on how we want to make it better, then that would be great. And then final two things from me is this will all tie into our podcast with Alex from from SPU. The injury prevention is also available to our parents. So, I was one of them. I had pains in my lats from playing football that I didn't even know why I had that. I don't know if it was from laughing or from trying to turn or just from running from the first time in 5 years. But, that was great. And then also, we're probably not going to do it every week, but we do like to socialize off the field as well. And if any of those parents want to join us, we do sometimes go and get a bite to eat afterwards. And, that's also a good way to get to know some of the coaches from a different point of view. I know people come from all over to play, people driving from Monroe, from Ridgefield, from Fairfield. So, some people have to get back right away, but I'm not saying we're going to do it every week after practice, but, if you do want to join us one week, we do go get some food, then we would love to have you. But yeah, and we're looking forward to technically tomorrow that we're playing, and full credit to Aaron for throwing that together, because it's been
no problem. No problem. Unless there's something more from Leon or Tom,
no, all good, man. Let's wrap this up.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you all either this week or this upcoming weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and talk to you all soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Interview Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Facebook and Instagram, and check out our website, www.interctfc.com.